Hello lads, today I wanted to show off a little medieval Tarkov. It is super cool. It's Tarkov with skills, but you can trade out every piece of gear and... Give me a second before I get fucked to death. A little rusty, just getting warmed up here, but you can trade out your weapons, you gotta have a headpiece, armor. Right now I have a race that can't equip helmets, but I get a headshot damage reduction. But more importantly, I get strength. And the strength stat basically lets me do more damage. Physical damage, that is. And I got a build that does a ungodly amount of damage with axes. But essentially the goal in this game is just like Tarkov. You go into raids, kill monsters, there's a little PvP element. But I personally have been having a lot of fun this season. And the devs of this game are actually, not that they have historically, but are actually recently listening to feedback and improving the game consistently, which I think is pretty cool. It's pretty rare with games like this nowadays that you'll have developers that actually care enough to improve the experience. But I mean, it has its own charm, it has its own aesthetic, and I appreciate everything about this game is very cool. Essentially, you know, just like Tarkov, you go into a little dungeon, you do a little looting, like I'm doing right now. There's traders that you can level up, there's quests. Right now I have a quest to kill quite a few things in the dungeon right about now. Got a little shrine of health here. But yeah, if you're a fan of Tarkov, I definitely recommend checking this out. Bro is fighting a giant. I will say that the build variety, because of the stat system and like different bonuses the items can have, I feel like loot in this game is a lot more meaningful than it is in Tarkov for me personally. Although the flip side of that is you have a lot less things like weapon customization. You know, you can't really deck out like your sword and stuff, but you can, you know, enchant your sword, which is... and all your different weapons and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Got all this jewelry and stuff we can sell. Now there's two healing items in this game. There's health potions and bandages. The little red bar on the bottom, you see how there's a little red gray part and then a little fully red part. So I can fill up the little grayish red part by healing with a bandage. Bandages also stop bleeding. And then I can heal up. If the bar is completely empty, I can use a health potion to fill it on up. Boom. Now there's many classes in this game, not just Barbarian, but I do have a lot of fun with Barbarian recently, especially getting that Gator race. I do be like 1 to 2 shotting everything basically, which is pretty fun. Now there's actually multiple levels to the dungeons, so when this starts glowing red, I can actually jump down to a deeper level of the dungeon. It's kind of like transiting in Tarkov, only in these transit locations can only be visited by going a level deeper. I believe this level only has 2 levels, so when you go deeper and go into the next raid, I think you can only do that once here. And then the castle map, which we might show off in the future, has... Oh, I just got pummeled. The castle map has 3 levels. You can actually go down twice, and it gets pretty brutal down there. Now I am playing like garbage right now. Garbage. Go ahead and fear this goblin away. This is perfect. He ran up here so we can actually kill him probably. Oh my god, dude. I'm taking way too much damage. So the thing about my build is I want to do headshots. So if I'm not doing headshots, I'm not doing a lot of damage. Now, there are sweet and sour spots to add a little more depth to the combat. So if I hit with the end, it makes that satisfying stabbing sound. And that does the most damage. I hear a bat. If I hit with the wood part, it does the least damage, and then if I hit near the handle, it does a lot less damage. I'm pretty full up, but most of that is actually just meds. I've also gotten a lot of magical protection potions. Now, this game mirrors a lot of Tarkov, but there are a little bit more side objectives you can do in the raid. So, in Tarkov, you might have something like planting markers. Well, in this game, you can actually go down and mine or chop down trees and different stuff like that. Different enemies will drop different special items, so you're incentivized to kill a lot more enemies. Also, the enemy variety is pretty good in this game. Right now, we're in the ice caverns, so you're mostly going to see, you know, those harpies, the skeletons, and the bats, as well as we might meet a yeti here soon. You did see the giant. There's also bosses in this game, But unlike... Oh, there's the Yeti. Oh, he just annihilated that Yeti. I'm going to yoink his loot. I'm going to yoink it. I'm going to yoink it. No, I'm just kidding. But unlike in Tarkov, the bosses do have, like, you know, basically static rooms. The maps are a little bit RNG, not entirely. So in certain levels, certain modules can spawn. Each room is a different module. So, for example, on the castle map, if you go down a level, there's 2 different variations that can spawn. And then within those variations, there are a couple different ones. And a big complaint I had for this game is that sometimes you'd go down to the 2nd level, and then the variation that you wanted didn't spawn. But they actually addressed that in the recent patch. These developers have been pretty active in giving the community what they want, which I think is pretty freaking cool. So right now I'm just sort of running around, wanted to kill... there's a couple monsters I gotta kill on this map and I have to extract. That's how I'm gonna complete my quests. There are skills in this game like I talked about, so my E skill, and there's also like different stats you can put on yourself. So like I have a build that makes my axe damage really strong. My E skill fears smaller enemies and also slows them down, as well as taking away their damage bonus. My Q skill has a little bit of an execute ability, so if an enemy is below 5% health after like the initial hit, so if it were to put them below 5% health, instead it kills them, which is pretty good. It also does 5 extra additional true damage. And the way that armor works in this game is there is armor that protects against mainly physical damage with stats that give you magical damage reduction. And then to counter that, you have things like true damage, which can pierce through armor and magic, but it is very rare and it adds something to grind for. You know, if you get a really good true damage item, gives you something to be a little scared for taking out of the raid. Now we're coming up on 5 minutes, so there's a couple exits I can take. Some portals opened up, so I'm probably going to take those. The exits in this game are dynamic a lot of times, just like Tarkov, where you'll have boats that only come by every once in a while. There's a gate on this map that you have to open, and different things like that, but for the most part, if you wait long enough in the raid, there will always be like a guaranteed portal spawn, so you don't have to worry about, oh, well, the only exit that's open near me is this gate. But yeah, I just wanted to put out a little something for you guys, since I was working on a big main channel video. I made it over the course of 2 days, and it's 30 minutes long, and it's documentary style, so... But yeah, I really think you guys should check out Medieval Tarkov, and I'll probably make another follow-up video that's more entertaining. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, and if you guys want to see more of this game. It was a lot of information to explain, so